Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, Fortnite. Fortnite's been a bad boy. They're going to get coal in their stocking. Fortnite developer Epic Games is being told they must pay $520 million penalty following two complaints from the U.S. FTC alleging children privacy law violations and widespread dark patterns that have purportedly tricked millions of players into making unintentional purposes. So $245 million of that $520 million is going to be in refunds alone. Basically, the FTC announced that the record-setting agreement today, the biggest, is a result of Epic breaking the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, the FTC says, and represents the largest penalty ever obtained for violating an FTC rule. So that's massive. It says Epic knowingly collected personal data from children without first obtaining parents' verifiable consent. The FTC also zeroes in on the fact that Fortnite enables text and voice chat by default, which alleged harms children and teens. Children and teens have been bullied, threatened, harassed within Fortnite, including sexually, the FTC writes. Children and teens have also been exposed to dangerous and psychologically traumatizing issues such as suicide and self-harm through Fortnite. It says, additionally, in the first of its kind provision, Epic will adopt strong privacy default settings for children and teen, ensuring that voice and text communications are turned off by default. I wish more games would do this. I hate having to turn that off. If I want it on, I'll turn it on. But that's beside the point. Epic will subsequently be forced to delete any data collected in violation with COPPA unless users specifically allow the company to keep it, either through parental consent or for underage users, or affirmative consent for users who identify as being 13 or older through a neutral age gate. It also said, just importantly, Epic will have to launch a comprehensive privacy program that addresses the problems identified in the FTC's complaint and obtain regular independent audits, seemingly to ensure that changes prompted by these complaints don't fall off. Epic, like I said, Epic will also pay $245 million in direct refunds, which is likewise the FTC's largest refund amount in gaming case and its largest administrative order in history. And the reason they're saying that is because Epic used privacy invasive default settings and deceptive interface that tricked Fortnite users, including teenagers and children, that FTC alleges that Epic has persisted in its unlawful conduct despite complaints from millions of individual consumers, as well as feedback from its own employees. So it sounds like multiple people have complained internally and externally, but they ignored it. The FTC expands on its allegation of deception, calling out Fortnite's counterintuitive, inconsistent, and confusing interface and its ability to incur unwanted charges based on the press of a singular button. Players could be charged while attempting to wake the game from sleep mode while the game was in a loading screen, or by pressing an adjacent button while attempting to simply preview an item. FTC says these tactics led to hundreds of millions of dollars in unauthorized charge for consumers. If anything, Epic's previous responses to these issues only made the problem worse, the FTC says, because it's purposefully obscured cancel and refund features to make them more difficult to find. Epic's practice of blocking users from accessing accounts caught up in charge disputes, in some cases accompanied by warnings that they could be banned for disputing future charges. That's pretty crazy right there. They'll ban you for disputing a charge. As the FTC puts it, will also end these penalties neutrality. The FTC also prohibit Epic from charging consumers without containing their affirmative consent, which any online purchase should require that you to say, yes, I really want to purchase this, not just click done without any consent or be able to reject it, because it's so easy to hit a wrong button when you're trying to do something. I mean, I do it all the time. I think of the most recent games I've been playing. You're trying to hit the start button and you're supposed to hit the select button instead. And I'm like, oh crap, hit the wrong button. So it's interesting to see that this stuff is getting done. The Epic CEO did kind of weigh in on this on Twitter and basically said, you know, that they kind of own the statement about moving beyond longstanding industry practices. I don't think this is longstanding industry practice. This is called dirty, low-handed practices. And Fortnite's all about that. And they've been able to scrape by and raking little kids over the coals with all this Fortnite crap and purchasing skins and everything. So basically they're saying developers should dig into the topic as the settlement reflects state-of-the-art American regulatory practices. For example, now applying principles similar to the UK age-appropriate design code to voice chat defaults. Sweeney advises an app purchase is also a hot topic with rigorous expectations of affirmative express consent for purchases made both in real money and paid virtual currency. It's all real money. You got to buy that virtual currency with something, or sometimes you get some for free, but it's still... he says the old status quo for in-game commerce and privacy has changed. Many developed practices should be reconsidered. Epic writes, apparently feeling quite introspective all of a sudden. They're not introspective. They're just sorry they got caught. They're the kid that's sorry they got caught. They're not really sorry. They're sorry that you caught them. So basically it's going to Epic statement also details that the changes it's now made to Fortnite's policies and UI, namely to hold a purchase mechanic in place for one button purchase and explicit yes or no choice for saving payment information, the restoration of thousands of accounts banned for chargebacks, and parental controls for chat filters like everybody or friends only, voice and text still default to nobody for anyone under the age of 18. So Epic is finally being forced to get with the times and stop being so damn shady by the FTC. $520 million really hurt their wallet. What do you think, Shane, about the FTC getting the FTC giving Epic a $520 million spanking?
Man, you don't violate COPPA because COPPA don't like it. No, Epic has done a lot of shady crap with that. We've all said that for a long time. The children thing really bugs me. And you're absolutely right. You should not be able to hit one button and say purchase without having a follow-up button that says, are you sure? Did you accidentally hit it? Is your mom in the room? You need that secondary button. Yeah, they're, and I agree that also your stuff should come in mute. You start a new game, or at least make it the initial settings. So when you now that you've loaded up the game, here are the settings we're offering you. This aspect ratio, this sound. Would you like to have game chat on? Things like that. That's the way everybody should be doing it. But I don't think it's enough money because they make this kind of money in a freaking day. I mean, they're pulling money in hand over fist on Fortnite. But I do like the fact that, now that they're busted for it and they're in trouble, they found the error of their ways and, they went to church, they found Jesus, and they're going to change. And, I'm proud of Epic. I'm proud of you. What a load of horse crap. I mean, it's ridiculous. They shouldn't have their hands spanked like that. They should have their hand taken off. They should a bigger fine, in my opinion. I mean, that amount is nothing to them. I mean, how much money do they make in a freaking day? For God's sakes, that place makes money hand over fist. They have a lot of shady practices. They've had for years. People have complained about it, and they're just now getting caught, or at least just now getting called out. So, I find it funny that, how long has Fortnite been out? 5 years? And they're just now getting this dropped on them? I think it's a load of crap. I think they didn't just pay off the right person to keep things going. And that person's like, you didn't pay, you got to go to court now. So what about you, Nick? I mean, your son plays Fortnite. Mine don't. He did for a little bit, and he asked me for money, and then I'm like, no. And he's like, I'm not going to play this no more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for my son plays Fortnite. I do have a thing on he plays it on Xbox, and I do have a thing on the Xbox that requires my my code to purchase something. So anything you purchase, I even have it set for myself. So even if I go to purchase something, I have to put the code in as well to make sure that kind of stops me or prevents me from just buying up a storm, right? I don't play Fortnite, but for other things, that little thing, because it was like, put your password in. I'm like, do I want to? Thank you, stopgap. You may have saved my life. Right. So that's definitely something parents can do for kids, is put, the consoles do have, if you're playing on console, and I'm sure PC does as well, something where if you're making purchases, that it'll ask you for a password or a code or something like that before you can confirm the purchase. But Fortnite, you guys are exactly right. Epic would have continued doing exactly what they've been doing. It's just they got caught, and now they're like, oh geez, oh gee whiz, gee willikers, I've been caught. Yeah, you got caught, and now you need to change your now they have to change things around. It really changed things for how it should be, right? They shouldn't have these practices in place, but these practices in place that they had make them money. And that's all they really, that's, of course, it's a corporation. That's all they really care about. It's the bottom line. So they're going to continue shady practices until someone calls them out. And now the FTC has. I agree with Shane. I think it should be higher. And the reason is because you've really got to call. And I know these companies are big, but you really got to make it hurt, because if you don't, then they're just going to start some other shady practice, right? They're always going to continue until you really make it hurt. Because right now, the CEO he's found Jesus, like Shane said, and he's going to Sunday school every Sunday now and everything like that. But the problem is they'll get this fixed and turn around, but they'll find some other shady practice that they can undermine and put into place, that until they get caught again, right? All companies do this, all corporations do, find some shady way of doing things just to make a profit. Hopefully I really hope this opens up, not just for Epic, but for other corporations to kind of follow suit, ones that may not be following suit today. I think there needs to be more things in place for when even adults or kids go and make online purchases for games and stuff like that, right? There should be a lot of stop gaps in between you making that purchase and actually purchasing it, because especially for consoles and things, or even like online, right? I mean, you go to Amazon, they have a one button buy, right? You can click, even Best Buy and everything like that have a one click purchase option. Yeah, it's convenient, but it sucks if you accidentally one click it. Now you got to try to refund that and everything like that, or maybe in a drunken night or a whim or something like that, you decide you're going to buy a bunch of crap and it's one click away. And even for kids are really bad about accidentally buying stuff, right? And that's why, or not accidentally, either way, but
accidentally on purpose,
exactly. Sometimes it's an accident, but that's why you as parents also had to put something in the way, like password protect when it's doing that stuff, or not tie your credit cards or whatever to their accounts, or
butt whooping.
But it's also, because a lot of people online and a lot of people, you'll hear a lot of things, people saying, well, the parents need to do better. And it's like, sure, the parents need to make sure that they have stop gaps in place, but it's also, but you shouldn't one-side it. The corporations also need to make sure they have things in place that prevent easy access of purchasing things, such easy access as a one button away, or a manipulative menus that cause you to buy things and stuff like that, right? It's also on the corporation, not just, you can't just put all the onus on the parent. It has to be, it takes two to tango, right? You're the consumer and the other one's providing the product. So they both have to kind of, and it's a live product. It's not like they bought something, you took it home. It's like something that is living, that they're the corporation has ownership of, that you're utilizing, right? So they also have to protect their end and make sure the consumer's protected, as well as the consumer making sure that they're protected on their side. So when you have these corporations doing shady stuff like this, it harms, well, it harms the consumer, right? More than it does the corporation. It can harm the corporation, but again, when the government comes down on those corporations, usually it's a slap on the wrist, and then better do better next time. Okay, thanks, Mom. And then they move on and they continue doing what they're doing, right? If we did something like that as regular consumers, we'd be probably thrown in jail for 10 years and everything taken away from us. But a corporation, they're just like, that's really bad. Don't be doing that now. Now move along and make more money. That's pretty much it. So, what do you think, Pat?
I mean, they basically got hit with a 9% loss of revenue for this year. I mean, they got fined 9% of their revenue. So, I mean, I can only imagine if somebody took away 9% of my income for a year, how I would feel. But I don't know.
Not
how
my
much is too much, right?
$12.
Right. I mean, how much is too much and how much is not enough? It's hard to say. Because I'm talking revenue. Because Fortnite, I think I had read, what was it? They made like, I don't even remember what it was now. It was on the 50 billions or something like that. Something like that. 5.8 billion, I think, is what they made last year. So 5.8 billion, and then you lose 520 million. And not necessarily lose it, but have to refund. Half of that has to get refunded back to the players, and then the other is a fine. And then, not to mention, you have to unban some people you banned for being a douchebag and canceling their account because they requested a refund or did a chargeback on their card. What a slap in the face. We banned your account for wanting your money back because we made it easy to do. And then have to go back in and be like, we're restating your account. Because you know what I would do? I'd give them the big middle finger and say, I don't want to play your damn game anyway. I take this account and stick it where the sun don't shine. But that's just me. I don't play Fortnite, so I can say that easily. I imagine most people who were playing Fortnite, unless they spent hundreds or thousands on that account, would have just spun up another account. Because I was looking at some statistics for Fortnite, and what I think is kind of funny is I know, technically I think Fortnite is what? I think it's 18 plus. I don't think it's rated for anybody under the age of 18 because of the online play. And so when I was looking at the Fortnite age demographics, 62.7% of them are in the 18 to 24 range. And I think that's because of how many minors are playing the game and signed up claiming to be old enough to play the game, right? And then it dwindles. I mean, 62% of the gamers claim to be in the 18 to 24-year-old range. With most people in our age making up the 35 to 44 range being 12.7%, And then if you get to Shane's age, 55 plus, it's like 0.1%. So
Fortnite's rated teen.
Just rated teen. So, yeah. So, but it looks like the age demographics, they only allow them to answer if they're 18 to 24 or 18 or higher. So, so that means you have to be at least 13 to play Fortnite. So how many people are violating that, so it's, it is what it is. The online play comes with, and the online play comes into consideration. And so I am really, I really like there being forced to mute the chat and audio by default, because I wish every damn game did that. You know how many times I've hopped into a multiplayer game and it has internal game chat turned on or audio, and the first thing you hear is somebody just going off on somebody. Or what's even worse is you just hear somebody's kid screaming in the background the whole time you're playing, and they're yelling at their wife and beating the dog, and you're just like, wow, we got into the redneck white trash game channel lobby in this one. You're like, what is going on at that house? You hear dogs screaming in the background, husband's yelling at his wife and his kids, and kids are yelling and screaming, and you're just like, please God, make it stop. And then I'm like leaving the game because I can't kill the chat or the audio, I'm like, so I am wholeheartedly wish every gaming company was required to by default mute the gaming chat and audio. Because some games, it's just atrocious. Even the typing chat. Like some of these people can type super quick. There's just spam of, the word of the day, whatever the profanity word of the day is, that's the chat's full of it. They're playing Pee Wee Herman's word of the day, except for it's Pee Wee Herman's dirty word of the day, so you can't even read what's going on in the chat because it's just full of curse words or full of just dirty, vulgar sentence over and over and over because somebody's just copying and pasting over and over. So, which should tell you the immaturity and the age of the majority of people in that chat. So I'm all for some of these concessions they're being made to do. I I am guilty of one-click purchases from Amazon and Best Buy, but I also let them know I would be okay with that, because you have to opt in for that, right? You have to say, I want you to save my credit card, and these are my one-click purchase options, like my shipping address, what card I want to use, and things like that. I'm guilty of that. I also, don't mise the passcode when I want to purchase anything in any of my stuff. So I don't use that. I'm not like Nick. I will make the knee-jerk purchase and be like, well, damn it, I really shouldn't have bought that. And it's too late. Maybe I should put in the passcode, so it makes me think twice, be like, But what I most recently did is I deleted my cards off of Xbox so that I have to put them in if I want to make a purchase. So that typically will stop me from going, do I really want to get off my ass and walk over to get my wallet and put my card number in? I don't want that game that bad. So, and I've done the same thing on Steam and stuff, because Steam, I'm really bad about just throwing 4 or 5 things in the cart during the winter sale and being like, buy, and be like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. So I'm the worst about stuff like that as well. But I am glad to hear that Fortnite got a spanking by the FTC. I'm surprised the FTC is the only one that gave them a spanking, but whatever. They're probably reeling and hurting anyway, because they got booted off of iOS when they had Fortnite Mobile, and stuff like that. And they'll probably be the next game that, I think they're over in China, right? Tencent and all that. I don't know who publishes over in China for Fortnite, if they are in Fortnite. They'll be putting them out the bed for a while, probably too. So, Tencent. So it's published by Tencent. So if Tencent just decides they don't want to work with them anymore, they'll be hurting even more. But Fortnite is not hurting with the $5.8 billion revenue in 2022. So
no.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for them getting the $520 million spanking, but that's just me.
I feel bad for the people that play it. My one problem with the game is, with this whole deal, is part of that suit is because of the crap these kids are going to hear. And, they're hearing profanities, and they're being told, their mom and dad didn't love them, and their dad was their mom's sister or some crap. They're hearing all this. That's not on Fortnite. That's on the parents, because when you jump into an online setting, be it a video game, a chat forum, a freaking family cookbook website, they're going to come across a lot of vulgarities and stuff. Now, there should be a better setup to try to prevent, but if a parent's letting their kids play online, especially a shooter where you're going to hear that N-word dropped more than you can count, especially on a shooter. So, I mean, that falls down to the parents. But I still think,
I don't know. If Fortnite allows a 13-year-old to get online, they should have controls in place by default that prevents them from getting into voice chat. So part of this is, on the parents should have set up the child's profile so that when they join Xbox or whatever they've joined, the console is set at their age, because you could tell the console what age your child is. Because when I set up mine, I told it what age my kid was, and it prevents them from playing certain games. But it also would mean that, like, Fortnite knows the real age of the person playing. So if your console is set up and you're age 13, it should know, I'm not going to allow you to see any audio, no video, no chat messages, and I'm not going to let you hear any audio from players. I don't necessarily believe the parents are always to blame here, because I don't go in. Now, with multiplayer games, I'm a little bit more cautious, but I don't go in and check every damn setting for every game that she plays. I expect my Xbox filters to filter into the game. The hierarchy, the system level should control anything below it. But this sounds like that's not true with Fortnite, and I don't play it, so I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I set up parental controls on my child in the Xbox that prevents them from using, like, chat services and audio. Does that filter into Fortnite? It kind of sounds like it doesn't from the lawsuit here. You would think
well,
that.
Then we should do a social experiment. The three of us hop on Fortnite with open chat and see how long it takes to be insulted.
We'll tell it we're 13 years old too.
Yeah. I'm a 13-year-old girl. Somebody call Hanson. Uh, no, I mean, to me, most of that, even with the settings, and it's just my feeling, but I believe that falls onto the parent. I mean, you got to raise your kids to understand there's just terrible, terrible people in the world, and most of them are online. That's just a fact. I mean, and they need to understand and be prepared. If you can't handle what's being said, if you can't understand that it's just sad people being pathetic, you don't play on there. My son had somebody message him something about how he sucked in a game. And, he was like, oh, Dad, what do I do? I was like, tell him to eat an asshole and keep playing your game. Just have fun. Don't worry about people like that. Pardon my language, you cannot let scum like that in life ruin your day. You can't. But I still think that 30% should have been the minimum on the lawsuit. I was running the numbers in my head. 30% sounds good. So not 9, but 30% of that 5.8 billion should have been fined to him. And then 20% of that should have been returned to every player who has to play that game. I don't know why every player.
10% to me.
I was thinking 3 for you and 3 for Pat. And the rest goes to me.
Well, they got a spanking and they'll see what happens. Anybody else got anything before we end up spending all night talking about Fortnite? Which is funny that we're talking about this game so damn much because none of us plays Fortnite. So
once or twice, maybe.
BS. You probably picked it up and you're like, what the hell is this? I have to build? What kind of shooter make? I'm out.
No, I did the tutorial and that freaked me out. I was like, I just want to shoot people in the face, man.
Yeah.
Build a house.
Yeah. So we don't actively play it, which is funny because we're bitching about this game we don't actively play. But my kids never played it, but it sounds like your guys have. But mine's too young. Mine's not 13 years old, so she can't play it legally. So, all right. You guys got anything else before we give Fortnite another spanking?
Nope.
All right. Let us know in the comments. Do you play Fortnite? Do you play it? There's nothing wrong with people who play it. This is not our forte. We complain about it, but Fortnite is a huge moneymaker. Do you play it? Do you enjoy it? What do you think about Fortnite getting put in their place by the FTC? Do you think that was right, wrong? Do you think they should have gotten fined more, like Shane said? Shane's estimating 30%, which would be like what, 1.7 billion of that money. So 30% of their 5.8 billion, 1.7. So what do you think? Does it got more? Should it got less? Should it not have happened at all? Do you think Fortnite's a golden company and they just got a raw deal? What do you think? Hit us up with some comments. We love some comments. So let us know what you think. And as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.